If you ask any young player out there if they want to play pro hockey one day, chances are that almost every single one of them is going to say yes, right? That being said, the question with this is it worth it to play? You know, why do some players grind it out through minor pro? Why do they go through it? And is it worth it to play? What's going on, guys? It's Brayden from Advancement Hockey Advising here, and today we'll be talking about if minor pro hockey is worth it for you guys. So if you ask any young player out there if they want to play pro hockey one day, chances are that almost every single one of them is going to say yes, right? We all dream to make it big. We all dream to make it in the NHL one day, and that's totally cool, right? We all want to have that dream. But the reality is that most of us won't end up making it to the absolute big leagues, and most players playing pro will only be playing in the minor pro hockey leagues. As a fun fact, most of these minor pro hockey leagues don't have the type of pay that can sustain a lifestyle so you can, feed a family and, make it big and really, buy like fancy cars and all that stuff. Only really the elite in the NHL and the KHL and the top leagues really make this. Most guys playing minor pro can only really make enough to kind of get by for the moment, so they can't really sustain a life out of it. That being said, the question with this is it worth it to play? Why do some players grind it out through minor pro? Why do they go through it? And is it worth it to play? And it's a really nuanced decision that you guys kind of have to ask yourself if you want to keep moving forward. And that's what we're going to explore in this video here. Obviously, everyone's situation is unique and different, and it's a very general video. So if you want more advice, seek out an agent that you trust, a coach that you trust, an advisor, anything like that to kind of help you navigate throughout the decision. But hopefully this video is a good starting point with this general advice here. Now, before we dive in, as always, just a quick reminder to absolutely destroy that like button if you haven't already, and consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell if you're new here so you never miss another video moving forward. All right, let's dive right into the question here as to if minor hockey is worth it for you guys. So in my mind, if minor hockey pro is worth it, it depends on your reasons. If your reason is to land it big and to hopefully, make it big one day and to have a baller lifestyle and all that kind of stuff, and that's the main motivation, I would say you're probably not going to be happy with it, and you're probably going to fall flat on your face with it, because most guys realistically do not make it up the ranks and do not make it big enough where they can have that lifestyle. Most guys end up staying minor pro, and that's totally fine, but it's just much more difficult to climb out the ladder than a lot of people think. Not saying it's impossible. I have a buddy actually that went through it, that went pretty high, and he's at the East Coast Hockey League level, and hopefully one day he makes it to the AHL. Even then, at the East Coast Hockey League level, even though it's pretty high, it's still minor pro, and it still doesn't pay that great, not for you to sustain a family and all that kind of stuff. I have seen it happen, but it's very, very difficult, okay? You have to be willing to grind it out through the ranks, and you have to be willing to claw your way up through the leagues and to consistently play well for a long period of time before you can actually make it up to the really high-end pro levels, okay? So it's quite difficult to do. Now, on the flip side, if you're looking to just have an experience to play pro hockey for a year or two or a couple years, let's say, and you really want to travel, so let's say you want to go to the US and start there, see the US a bit, so play in the Fed or something like that, get a resume there, and then you want to go to Europe, travel Europe, play in a league for a year, another league for another year, and really be able to travel, sightsee, and have an experience. If that's your reason, then absolutely it's totally worth it, in my opinion. If you really value traveling, seeing the world, and still playing hockey, still keeping the dream alive for a little bit, that is totally fine. And I know so many players that do that. I didn't get to do it because of my circumstances, but I really encourage guys to really do that, because it's, I've had nothing but positive feedback if that's your main reason for doing it. So in that case, absolutely, I'm all for it. So let's say you're one of those guys that's looking to make the transition up and to play minor pro one day. Let's say you're not sure of your reasons yet, you're not sure if you still want to do it, and you want to know, okay, am I the guy that kind of falls into this category? How do you know if you're that guy? So basically, the people that are gonna end up playing, probably high-end pro, are the guys that are like really high-end NCAA D1 players, really high-end, major junior players that get drafted. Typically, those are the guys that go straight to the high-end pro, right? If you get drafted, that's usually a big indicator in the top rounds. And also, like, the really high-end youth sports guys often sign a pretty decent deal after they play, but it's the really high-end guys that don't fall in these categories and that'll probably end up playing minor pro at least to start, are guys that played, NCAA D3 hockey, ACHA hockey, if they even make it to minor pro for ACHA, that's a big caveat. Lower end NCAA D1 and youth sports guys, okay? Mid to lower end guys might have to grind it out to in the minor pro leagues, I would say. Also guys that come out of junior A, even if it's a relatively high caliber junior A league, you still probably have to play minor pro to be able to, work your way up. That's That's just the reality of it. Okay, so those are the kind of guys that will end up probably playing minor pro. And if you do make this transition, so again, it comes down to your reasons. If you're doing it for the lavish lifestyle, you're probably gonna fall flat on your face. It's probably gonna be a tough awakening. That being said, if you're doing it more for the experience, for those guys that fall in this category, I think it's worth it to go ahead and pursue. But again, this is a very general video, and you really have to take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because your situation is completely different to everybody else's, okay? But these are some general guidelines to follow. So hopefully this makes sense for you guys and that you got some value out of this short video here. I hear this all the time. We get so many messages from so many guys all the time that I knew I had to make this video and kind of put this message out here. So if your reasons are good, you know, I think it's definitely an experience to move forward with for most guys, okay? But if your reasons are good, probably not the best avenue. So hopefully you liked this video. If you did and you made it all the way here, consider absolutely destroying that like button if you haven't already. It really goes a long way for the algorithm and for more hockey players and parents to see these kind of videos. Also too, if you're new here and if you like this content, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. Also, if you have any questions, anything whatsoever you want to talk to us about, consider dropping a comment down below or sending us a private email at info@ahadvising.com and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right guys, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on that next one.